Welcome to the Ringer Fantasy Football Show. My name is Danny Heifetz, and I'm joined by Danny Kelly and Craig Horlbeck, and we are going over all the players you need to add entering Week 6 of the NFL season. We're going through running backs, receivers, tight ends, a bunch of running back stuff happened. O'Meara and Hampton for the Chargers, going to go in injury reserve. A lot of stuff we're going to hit. But first, Monday Night Football, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the 4-1 Jacksonville Jaguars defeat the 2-3 Kansas City Chiefs, 31-28. With what I can only feel like describing as the first AI-generated game-winning touchdown I have ever seen. Trevor Lawrence
He fell down twice.
I think I could talk for 45 minutes about Trevor Lawrence in this game. Between the booger, the game-winning touchdown, everything. But DK, what just happened? That was crazy.
A classic Jaguars performance where you don't really know how to feel about it. There was one point, right after he scored, I was like, I can't tell if I should be embarrassed for the Chiefs or the Jags here, because that was like such a weird way to win. He fell down, got stepped on by the center, or the guard maybe, fell down twice, got up, still ran it in for a touchdown. Just a hilarious turn of events. But yeah, I mean, I can't believe the Jags are 4-1. I think their defense is legit. I'm not sure so much about their offense, but this was actually a pretty fun game.
Really fun game. Trevor Lawrence, that touchdown run, man. My friend texted our group chat and just said that was peak Eli Manning. And that did feel like something only Eli Manning would ever do, is fall twice and then still get up and somehow run in a touchdown.
Dude, that whole final drive was Eli Manning-esque.
Yeah,
the first two
totally. The
Manningham
Brian
throw. Thomas pass was like Manningham right into the bucket.
Including the Butker made a huge mistake kicking the ball out of bounds, and the Jags got the ball to 40. Trevor Lawrence takes the first two plays. They have a minute and 45 and like 3 timeouts. Trevor Lawrence trades 45 seconds and a timeout and 2 plays to get 3 yards. And I'm like, this is like your career, not career defining, but I'm like, this is the biggest regular season game of your life. And that was horrific. Then Brian Thomas, he gets the ball to Brian Thomas, gets the ball to Diami Brown. They're at the 11. Suddenly they're going to score too fast. And that whole sequence is crazy. And then like the pick that was DPI and they're at the 1. And then he fucking trips and gets up. Chris Jones is just standing there and he runs in the end zone. That was honestly to me Trevor Lawrence's whole career in a nutshell.
Totally.
Kind of like they're at the 1 yard line. You assume he's going to be great. He trips, he falls down, gets up, and then suddenly runs in the end zone. The Jags are 4-1.
This was the whole, you said it, the whole Trevor Lawrence experience in terms of the peaks and valleys, right? Like there was plays in this game where I'm like, he runs like the wind blows. He's so fast out there, looking like a gazelle. He scored 2 rushing touchdowns, and he made some very critical decisions to take off and run with it, and that was very helpful. But then also he just makes these boneheaded plays, like he let the freaking clock run out down there in the red zone. Like, dude, it's just like
took a delay of game, and they were close to a delay of game. After the delay of game.
I know, yeah. I think what was like, if you really want to get into like the weeds, what they were saying was basically they were expecting an all-out blitz, which is what the Chiefs were doing. They were sending at least 5, I think, going back into those plays. And so what they were trying to do was like do a hard count, get them to jump because they were so, amped up to try and get pressure and sack him. And then the next play they did was like a screen, but at the same time, man, you got to be like aware of the play clock. You let the play clock run out in that critical, and then they backed him up 5 yards. There was like a 2nd and 15. I mean, there's so many ways in which this could have gone horrible for Trevor Lawrence and the Jags, especially after picking your nose on the most zoomed in shot ESPN's ever done on a player.
Like a horror movie. You've seen guys like kind of snatch a booger and get out. His nose,
they were zoomed in so far. So far.
Why did they do that? That was kind of messed up.
I think it's fucked up.
I think they did that on purpose. That was wild.
I think my theory on this, and I've talked to my dad about this in the past, is they do these shots at some random time in the game and then save them, and then use the
like a booger you want to eat later.
Yeah.
They save it. Craig, you were sweating this out. Ringer Fantasy League in a matchup against House. What was your emotional journey there at the end?
Dude, what a game. Holy shit. Again, nobody cares about your fantasy league, but I did beat House. It was a very close game. All I'll say is it came down to the final drive. He had Mahomes. I had nobody. I was up 1.4 points.
Sweating.
Mahomes on the final drive basically needed 30 yards to beat me. And I'm buzzing right now. The boys are buzzing in the fantasy league. The 3 of us all have a winning record in the Ringer Fantasy League. So hats off to us. I got to say about Trevor Lawrence, he's funny, man. He's like best case scenario Wentz. Like He's on that scale where he's like such a blockhead sometimes. You know what I mean? Like he has a lot of icks. Like once every other week, he just runs like 5 yards past the line of scrimmage and then still throws the ball. Has like zero awareness where the line of scrimmage is. The QB sneak jump fumble, huge ick. The double trip. There's like one throw a game that's like the dumbest throw you've ever seen. But but outside of that, he was awesome. He was super tough. Like his ability to like evade tackles and fight for first downs. And the throw to Brian Thomas down the sideline, it was 3rd and 7, a minute left in the game, down 4. That was the best throw of Trevor Lawrence's career.
Legends.
Dude, it was. That was the most talk about stadium pulse. It was the best throw of his career. Couldn't have been any more perfect. And you could tell Troy Aikman tonight. Troy Aikman, I don't think loves Trevor Lawrence, but he begrudgingly came around and was complimenting him in that final drive for how good he was.
It actually, Lawrence's game was a lot like Caleb Williams' games, where there are moments where like, I see why this was the number 1 pick in the draft, and we talked about him like he could
he was essentially the anointed one when he was like 18 years old or whatever.
And there were also blockhead is the perfect word, because ick, like all these moments where, I mean, how about him getting Dikembe Mutombo'd at the goal line by Nick Bolton with one of the best fumble.
I hate that play. The only guy, Drew Brees is like the only guy who could do that. No,
because you can't see him.
You're huge. QB sneak.
No one knows where he's coming from.
Yeah, push him or something. Like just the vulnerable football over the line is everybody's swiping at it. It's the worst play. I hate it.
I mean, it's cool when you do it, but like it was pretty. People didn't see it. They were at the inch line. Yeah. And Trevor Lawrence went to dunk the ball over the goal line, and Nick Bolton, the Chiefs linebacker, who's quietly been huge for the Super Bowls they won, and Nick Bolton just punched the ball out. I would say you might have to measure it like in millimeters, how close, but he did dislodge the ball before the goal line.
And I got to say, Heifetz, I thought they had a pretty good sideline, Kim, to show that.
I know.
It was from above.
Look how helpful it is when the ball's on the goddamn goal line.
And
because they had more cameras.
Yeah,
it's amazing. Monday Night Football does have more cameras. Yeah, look how magical it is when the ball's on the goal line. Incredible. Who could have anticipated that would be where you want a camera? I also, I'm sorry, I have to go back. We were recording straight after the game, but I had to take 2 seconds and listen to his interview after. Did you guys listen to what he said after the Trevor Lawrence game-winning touchdown?
Yeah.
No.
First time I can remember someone being totally, completely honest since like unvarnished honesty since Richard Sherman screaming about Michael Crabtree. Joe Buck's wife was like, Michelle Beisner Buck was like, what were you thinking there on that last play when you scored? And I wrote it down, quote, he said, panic, sheer panic.
That's almost as bad as seeing ghosts.
He said, we didn't have any timeouts. I was going to throw it out of bounds to stop the clock. And then there was really nobody around me, so I just made a play.
Wow.
Which, again, if Chris Jones just like, I think Chris Jones thought he had been sacked.
He must have thought the play was dead, but still, that like you got to keep going until you hear the whistle.
Well, if Chris Jones had moved and touched him while he was on the ground, Trevor Lawrence would have panic, sheer panic. He just got tripped and fell. That was unbelievable. I also think this is why the NFL makes $18 billion a year, not because of the great teams playing, because this game was bizarre. I mean, Patrick Mahomes threw a pick 6 at the 1 yard line to Devin Lloyd.
That was an incredible play. Yeah.
You got James Harrison.
He got James Harrison for a 14-point swing. There was Trevor Lawrence at the 1 millimeter line. The Chiefs got the ball back, and then when they went and scored, that's kind of a 14-point swing too.
This might have been the best game ever for plays that occurred at the 1 yard line.
The whole game was at the goal line.
You have the Lawrence fumble on the QB sneak thing. You have the pick 6 that occurred at the 1. You have the stupid double trip touchdown was at the 1. Pretty insane game at the 1 yard line.
Don't forget the interception in the end zone that became a defensive pass interference was in the end zone. And that crazy bobbled pick that the Chiefs somehow did not intercept, where I think it was Drew Tranquil and I think Tranquil and Nick Bolton, where if one of them was there, it would have been effortless. But they were both there, and I actually can't remember a ball going back and forth between defenders. So I think it hit each of them twice, maybe 3 times. And then and Drew Tranquil just kind of landed on the ground staring at the goal line like he couldn't believe they didn't catch the ball. That was a inexplicable game.
You know, I kind of think that the Chiefs played pretty well. Like I got to give it to the Jags.
They looked a little bit better than they had.
They did. Like I think
season.
the Jags won this game. This was not like a typical this Chiefs offense can't move the ball. Like Mahomes played great.
I agree with that.
Mahomes was really good outside from the pick. Like I think the Jags just came out and won this football game, which is really impressive.
You're right. I mean, it's funny because it's the Chiefs. I mean, the pick six. The game, honestly, I mean, again, the Chiefs lost by 3. And again, the pick six was very much a 14-point swing for Jacksonville, and that kind of was the game. I do want to just, and there's some bigger stuff I want to talk about with you guys before we get to waivers, but I do need to mention the referees in this game were just, I am usually pretty pro-ref, which is a pretty weird
You can
stance.
say pro-Chiefs? There's a lot of questionable Chiefs.
So it was the correct call, but a bad start when Travis Kelce kind of just scored a touchdown. They throw a flag
the ref
to take it back. And Mahomes, Kelce, and I think
he's
Hollywood
good looking.
are
I'll
just
believe him.
Travis Kelce was like,
do you
know who my wife is?
Yeah.
Like,
I'll have you dead tonight.
But they were screaming at the refs, and you could weirdly hear them. They were
One
all
yard,
like,
1 yard, 1 yard.
and then they just walk over and pick it up, which they were right, but it also just was a bad optics because they kind of just screamed
Were they
until
right?
the rest
I think it was pretty close.
We were talking about who's the ref back in New York or whoever called in and was like, I don't know about that call.
The rule is you can make that kind of pick,
1 yard.
basically the whole rub route thing where the guy set a basketball pick moving is illegal beyond 1 yard. But Andy Reid's good at this stuff. Within 1 yard, it's legal. Russell Yerk, who I'm not the biggest fan of, kind of walked in and was like, that really looked like it was 1.05 yards downfield in my view. I'm like,
Game
it's
of
1
inches.
yard. It's fine. But it was just
There's
funny.
another, Craig, that's another play that happened at the 1.
Yeah,
That's right.
the first play, Kelsey's touchdown was at the 1. The whole game was at the goal line. And so that, I think, came up later when that's just something you kind of file away. But then the other big play in this game that really could have shifted it was inside the Jaguars, I think at their own 12 or 15, I forget where, Trevor Lawrence throws what looks like at first a really horrific interception, but then they show the replay. And
tackle
Parker
receiver
Washington
tends to look bad down in the
destroyed.
secondary.
It really, the only play that reminded me of was the Nickel Roby-Coleman, the Saints, Rams defensive pass interference. Like, he just got rocked. The receiver got destroyed by defender, and then the Chiefs just caught the ball, and the Chiefs scored. And Trevor Lawrence, they cut to him, and he was like, he said it, you could read his mouth. He was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And that was a crazy missed call.
That one was way more egregious than the pick play at the 1 yard line. Pick play at the 1 yard line, I think
that's like kind of a 50-50 call.
Yeah, it was like pretty close. So I think you could call it either way. It was a little weird that they reversed it on the field without like looking at the replay, but
they literally got bullied by Travis Kelce.
But the Chiefs scored 2 plays later. So the Chiefs were kind of gifted 7 points. That was bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and but that pick, when they tackled the non DPI call or whatever was really egregious and obviously a massive swing in the game. And then, obviously the pass interference call on Brian Thomas in the end zone at the end of the game, I think was the correct call. Did you think that call was right? Where he's basically armbarred him in the back of the end zone that led to the pick, but then they reversed it?
It bothers me that that's the rule, but that is absolutely how it is called all season, all the time. Right. I wish it wasn't that way where, like, basically if you're a cornerback trailing and the receiver just turns around with the right timing, there's kind of nothing you can do, and I don't like that, but that is absolutely how it's officiated all the time.
It is hard to play corner. It's very hard to play that position.
Don't envy those people.
Yeah, no.
On the bright side, there are no old ones, so there's no way to age gracefully either. With that said, I feel like we've talked about the Chiefs all the time. I'm curious. I don't know, DK. Do you think the Jags are 4-1?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of this Jaguars team, man?
My big impression in this
Craig's
game,
like, what a stupid question. Craig,
that was such a classic like TV question. I loved it.
I was very impressed with the defense. They were missing Trayvon Walker, their top, one of their top pass rushers in this game. But I just felt like during the game, they just fly around and hit the shit out of offensive players. It was very impressive watching them. They love to flow to the football, and every single time they're punching at the ball. They lead the NFL in takeaways. This is one of the best turnarounds for a defense, I think, in the league this year. So it's very impressive watching that defensive unit play. And I think, offensively, again, like the Trevor Lawrence experience is all over the place. It was good to see him connect with Brian Thomas late in the game because I think that was going to be a big storyline if he hadn't have done that.
And Thomas bobbled the hell out of that ball.
I know, yeah. It wasn't like a clean catch, but I do think the guy actually tipped it a little, Craig.
Oh,
when it was coming down, yeah, he grazed his finger. Travis Hunter had a couple of incredible plays.
Oh my God.
There was a couple plays in this game where I was like, oh,
Dude,
that's the guy who they took second overall. You know
there was that one like play in the flat where he just like straight up made two guys miss. Like it was the Oklahoma drill, but it was like 1 versus 2 and he just made them both miss.
And then he mossed a couple guys later in the game.
The deep ball was pretty incredible. And it does. I'm like, dude, get this guy off the fucking defense and give him 10 targets a game. We need to be throwing to him a lot.
I hard not to think that watching them on offense.
I'm like, wow.
It's just funny because they need a quarterback, but yeah, they just put him on offense. I
was impressed overall with the Jags, though. I mean, I think they're kind of messy, and that's always probably going to be in their DNA. But yeah, I was impressed. The defense, man, they just hit the shit out of people.
Can I do the least favorite thing, but I do think is accurate, which is the most annoying yum yucker thing? If Trevor Lawrence just like didn't run that in for a touchdown and just, I don't know, tripped with the game on the line at the 1, would we be excited about the Jags?
No, but that's football. That's how it works.
Yeah,
I know,
like,
but I'm just saying it's funny because
every week, pretty much.
I know, but it's just like that was the 1 in 100 version of that play that worked out well. Every other version is a disaster.
I would have still been impressed with their defense, but their offense would have been a different story.
You're 100% right, but you could do. I mean, if Derrick Henry doesn't fumble against the Bills have 2 losses, and that's almost a third to the Dolphins, and everyone's like, "What's wrong with the Bills?"
Yeah, but this is like if Derrick Henry fumbled, picked it up, and ran it in for a touchdown.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like you can do that a lot. Trevor Lawrence played great.
Yes, but also he fucked up like 5 different things on that drive. It's just funny because I guess. Trevor Lawrence flashed the things that make me so excited about Trevor Lawrence. And yet, even with that play, I still find myself really disappointed with how many mental errors he is making.
He's a blockhead.
Blockhead is going to stick with me. He is a blockhead.
Yeah.
That is funny.
Dude,
however, DK's right. The Jaguars are better than I thought, but Trevor Lawrence is still somehow worse than I thought.
At halftime, they interviewed Cohen, and it's funny because I think the way his kind of natural emotions towards his team, I think reflect how we all feel as well. They were asking him like, what did you say to your team at halftime? And he's like, we just need to calmly operate. Just take a big, deep breath, go have fun. He said, take a deep breath twice. And I'm like, that is kind of, I feel like how we all feel. We're like, look, Trevor, you're good. You're talented. Just like take a deep breath,
fucking chill, man.
And we'll be good. You know what I mean?
I do think there is an element too where I'm not trying to be like a Lawrence defender or whatever, but like I do think he has a reputation now, and so like every little thing we pick apart when he makes mistakes. Because if you look around the league, I mean, quarterbacks are fucking things up constantly. It's like it's just a never-ending battle. Even Patrick Mahomes fucks up like procedural stuff at times. But that being said, like he hasn't proven it like a lot of other quarterbacks have. So I just like to throw out that like. Procedural shit happens in every game constantly.
No, that's true. But the reality is the biggest. I mean, am I being hyperbolic? I think this was the biggest game of his regular season. This was versus the Chiefs. Jaguars don't get Monday Night Football at home a lot.
Yeah. Dude, they're usually in London against the Browns.
Yeah, and it's like you can go beat the Chiefs, and I just want to say it again. He wasted 2 downs and 45 seconds at a timeout, and he got 3 yards, and he didn't get a pass off. Like, that was a bad start. Then took a delay of game trying to hard count a blitz at like the 11-yard line, took a delay of game. And then I don't know why he called. I know they're blitz, to your point, they're calling it blitzes and they're trying to get a tunnel screen or a bubble screen, but I'm like, that just guarantees you have to use the last timeout. Like, I thought that was kind of a strange call because unless you score a touchdown, they have to call a timeout right there. The whole thing was a little strange, but it worked. But also,
it was very herky-jerky, that's for sure.
Yeah, herky-jerky is good. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence is a blockhead. And then, the Chiefs, they look good, which is funny because they also lost. But I also kind of believe they were, if they caught either of the first 2 passes Mahomes threw in that, they were going to get in field goal range.
I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, that was a weird play with the Hollywood Brown not turning his head, just hitting him in the shoulders.
I got to tell you, though, it was worth it. It was a little underwhelming, but were you guys I was pretty locked in watching Mahomes throw the ball as far as he possibly could. I was like, wait, it didn't go as far as I was hoping, but I actually kind of thought it was going to reach the end zone.
Yeah.
And then would he have tried to pull a Jalen Hurts and chase after it for 70 yards to catch the tip?
Yeah. Do you want to explain
did you see that?
Yeah, I did see that.
We missed this on the Sunday night show.
Did.
So the Hail Mary at the end of the Broncos game, the Eagles-Broncos game that Jalen Hurts threw, they were on like the 30-35, so it wasn't exactly like a super deep Hail Mary. The other angle, but when you're kind of behind Hurts, showed that Hurts threw this ball up super high and then chased after it, trying to make it to the end zone in time, just in case there was a tip and he could catch his own pass in the end zone, which I thought was honestly fucking genius and awesome.
He chased it really like a free throw or a 3-pointer that he was trying to get the rebound.
Off the
like he ran 50 yards. Dude, and he kind of almost got there.
I would say now, like if you have a fast third string quarterback and you have a Hail Mary and you're on like the 35, like bring him in, have him throw it and then run to the end zone.
If Hurts did that, that is immediately one of the best plays in the history of American sports, right? Like if you catch your own Hail Mary and win a game.
I would love, please email us. Has anyone ever done that before? Has Hurts done that before? Is that a thing?
You mean
he didn't
chasing
get that
it?
close though, did he? Like he was like on the 10 or 15.
He got to like the 10.
Yeah.
He got close enough that if it had been batted up one more time, like he could have got in the fray. Yeah.
Been epic. It would have been epic if it worked that way, but yeah.
If anyone's done that at any level, like caught their own Hail Mary, please email that to ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com. Okay, anything else in this? The booger. Do you want to talk about the booger? Booger back on Monday Night Football. The nose picking.
I think we should normalize nose picking.
Graphic.
I agree with that. That's fine. It's like, you know what? Look. We can all be adults.
Everybody
about
excavates their nostrils, and nobody wants to admit it.
Stop pretending you don't pick your nose.
DK is right. I don't know if they save the footage.
That's so much more cruel if they do that.
Did him dirty
but I
on
think that they. Look, maybe they kind of just lingered on him and they were like caught wrong timing. Part of me does think they're like, this goes with the narrative of like, I kind of think they're trying to tell a story and they kind of threw him under the bus.
That's so brutal if they held on to that.
The director or whatever, the broadcast director, you see that hand coming up towards the nose area, you cut away quickly. You got to be faster than that. They lingered on it really long. They lingered on it for far, far too long.
They don't do that if it's Travis Kelce or Mahomes.
I think Liam Cohen should
exactly
give
how I
ESPN
feel,
a piece of his mind.
There's no way.
Kelce would never. He would have just screamed at them until they picked the flag up.
Do you
Liam
think
Cohen should run up to the program director and be like, "You keep Trevor Lawrence's face out of your mouth.
You keep Trevor Lawrence's finger out of his nose."
Yeah.
Do you guys think that Travis Kelce had an awkward night tonight, where like it's like when you have a great day and your partner has a terrible day, or vice versa? Do you think it's like he's like, "Hey, how was your day?" And she's like, "I just set the record for most streams ever on Spotify." And he's like, "We had a shitty loss."
He's like, "Trevor Lawrence tripped, but
he did score
anyway.
a touchdown, so he's probably fine."
All right. Shall we? Let's get to waivers entering week 6. All right, we're gonna go through waivers entering week 6. We're gonna go through position by position. We're each gonna give our top pick at that position for the following week, and if we have the same guys, we're gonna do a little trivia tiebreaker to decide who gets it. It's not that complicated. I promise you will figure it out as we go along. And we're going to try to just simulate waivers like you do in your league. So hopefully we can help people in 10-team leagues all the way through 14-team leagues as we go down and down into like deeper players. We'll try to help everybody here. All right. We're going to get to running back entering week 6, and we have to start with big news. So the Chargers, Amarian Hampton, who left the Sunday game in a walking boot. Adam Schefter, we're recording this Monday afternoon. Schefter is reporting that the Chargers are going to put Amarian Hampton on injured reserve. So he's going to be out at least 4 games, potentially more, for an ankle injury. So you combine that, Najee Harris already tore his Achilles. So Hampton's out at least a month, potentially longer.
Dude, the Chargers, my God.
And they're down somewhere between 2, 3, 4 offensive linemen at any given time, depending on how Mekhi Becton's doing.
Poor Herbert.
Both tackles.
Can Madison Beer play running back and tackle?
Dude, maybe. So, yeah, this is huge. Obviously, Amarian Hampton was the first-round pick for the Chargers this year. He's starting to play better. This is interesting. So I think now there's... for waivers purposes, obviously, if you have Hamptons, like you have to go get the backups down the Chargers are Hassan Haskins, who played for Harvard, Michigan, and then Kimani Vidal is more of a pass catching guy. And then you also have a couple other running backs floating around. Michael Carter, who replaced Trey Benson, who replaced James Conner. And James Conner's out for the season. Trey Benson's also like Hampton on IR, but could come back this season. Then you have Rico Dowdle, who Chuba Hubbard's not even on IR, but Dowdle ran for 206 yards. Oh, sorry. Do we have the clip for, it's not Rico Dowdle. It's Dowdle! We have that.
That's pretty good.
Dowdle!
Look at this! Dowdle! Still on his feet!
I don't understand how he physically does
Still
that.
on his feet!
Dowdle!
Still on his feet!
obviously Michael Carter and Rico Dowdle are more likely to be available in your league. Or sorry, more likely to be rostered. Hassan Haskins is probably available almost everywhere. Mm-hmm. So not many people might have this choice, but maybe you have to cut one of these. DK, if Carter and Dowdle are rostered, obviously Hassan Haskins is the number one guy this week. I'm curious if there are options, or maybe you have Michael Carter or you have Rico Dowdle. Would you cut one of them for Hassan Haskins? Like, how would you rank those guys?
No, I don't think so. This is tough because I think for me it's pretty close. Dowdle is a clear cut above the other two guys, but for me it's pretty close with Carter and Haskins. The problem with Haskins is we haven't really ever seen him do anything.
Yeah.
He's playing on a team that is one of the highest pass rate teams in the NFL behind an offensive line that is absolutely decimated. And there's probably also going to be a bit of a committee here with Vidal. So I think even though I think Haskins is probably going to be kind of the quote unquote lead guy, I think I might lean Michael Carter a little bit. Michael Carter for the Cardinals last week had 18 carries and 5 targets. He was basically far and away their lead back. And then Amari DiMercato, who was one of the other two guys that they were using, he had a huge mistake, obviously, dropping the ball before he crossed the goal line. So I think I lean Michael Carter just slightly, but it is very close. Where do you guys land on this?
When Hampton went down, Haskins played 8 of the 9 snaps immediately after the injury, and then Vidal came in and closed out the drive, and then after that it was garbage time with Trey Lance. I don't know. It's like... It's a good point.
This is tough.
I mean, I think the Cardinals, Trey Benson's on IR. Like, in theory, he's going to come back. The Cardinals have 2 more games before their bye week. So in theory, there's like a world in which you only get 2 more games of Michael Carter.
Right.
But I guess you're only going to get, maybe 4 or 5 of Hassan Haskins. I don't know. I actually
Chargers do have the Dolphins this week.
They do have the Dolphins this week.
Which is huge.
Yeah, he'll be
but I will say the Dolphins, they still have more talent on the
I think I might lean with DK here. I actually see what DK's saying with like the horrible offensive line with LA. They're just going to throw the ball a ton. Haskins is super unproven.
It's not just that. So the Chargers' upcoming schedule is Dolphins, then Colts, Vikings, Titans. Those are solid run defenses. Like it's not nothing. Obviously, the Titans, they just give up that big long run to Amari DiMercato.
But the Cardinals just go Colts, Packers, bye.
I know. And so it's tough. And so overall, though, maybe it's a false choice where it's like, honestly, most of the time, Haskins is available.
I think it's Haskins.
I think you have to add Haskins. And we even said that. I would also add Vidal.
Let's do Haskins here.
If Haskins is taken, I would then take Kimani Vidal as well, because I wouldn't be shocked if Haskins is the quote-unquote starter and then Kimani Vidal ends up being more valuable in fantasy for 2 reasons. One, as the Chargers' offensive line gets worse, Herbert's depth of target will probably drop, and there will probably be more quick passes. And so Vidal is the pass-catching back. I think Kimani Vidal is a rare build because on one hand, I think the Chargers took him because the Rams sniped them on Blake Corum. And I think Kimani Vidal in the draft last year, he went his 6th round. And he was kind of like Blake Corum cosplay for Jim Harbaugh, where he probably wanted Blake Corum. And then Kimani Vidal came out of Troy, and he's the rare guy. He's 5'8", 215. He's built, but he's a pass catching back. But he has the size for him between the tackles work. He kind of completely fell off the radar because he didn't make the team necessarily, but it was competitive because they signed Najee, then they drafted Amir in Hampton. They didn't even necessarily want Amir in Hampton. They tried to trade out of that pick. The Eagles called it into the NFL office during the draft wrong, so they took Amir in Hampton. But the Chargers were going to go into the season with Najee Harris, Hassan Haskins, Kimani Vidal, kind of drafted Hampton by accident. Now he's hurt. Najee's gone. Vidal is an unorthodoxly competent pass catcher on a team that might have to throw to running backs now more than they want. So Haskins is the easy one, but it's not like Vidal doesn't have the size for goal line work, is what I'm trying to say.
It might actually be like Haskins and Carter are your top 2 ads if they're available, and then Vidal is still there at number 3 as like the 3rd guy you would add.
Because you just don't know how it's going to break down. And again, the answer here could be you actually don't actually want to end up playing any of these guys. But you know what I mean? It could be like, oh, all of them are going to suck. However, it is still the Chargers, and I don't know. It's even with the O-line. I don't know. I think you have to take a shot. Again, running back is so not liquid this year. This whole conversation have it another time. I think next year I kind of think fantasy benches should be smaller. I think that more liquidity on waivers is good. It's less stressful to play fantasy when you can actually get people with playing time. I think running backs and playing time's hard this year. Kimani Vidal will play. Hassan Haskins is not capable in my mind of playing 80% of snaps, 70% of snaps. I think Vidal's going to be on the field a lot. Anyone on the field for the Chargers you want. So I think Haskins, then Vidal by a lot. And then what we're saying, if Rico Dowdle's available, take Rico Dowdle because he ran for 200 yards. If Michael Carter's there, you probably want Michael Carter. The Cardinals, it's tough because we'll see what Jonathan Gannon, the head coach of the Cardinals, benches Amari DeMarcado, or it gives him a second shot. I could see DeMarcado being inactive. Kind of, you got to put a head on a spike sometimes.
Getting some carries and
yeah, so
too.
Bam, that's the fifth guy. Bam Knight for the Cardinals could be the new DeMarcado because he kind of ran pretty well. And so if DeMarcado is benched as a showing, Bam Knight. So I think those are the big names. It's like Dowdle we're saying is number one. Do we agree on that? He ran for 200 yards at some point. Yeah. Do it. But the flip side is Chuba Hubbard can come back. It's kind of all fluid.
I don't know. Is Dowdle the number one? I mean, Chuba Hubbard's day to day.
At the end of the day, if you want, and that's the flip side, if you want someone who's going to play, like Hassan Haskins will play for this team, but I like Vidal a lot. I like his game. I think he's going to have a pass catching role. I think he will be usable. And so Haskins and Vidal will be usable, although potentially flaccid.
All right. I feel like we've like mapped out everything for 10 minutes here. Who are you taking?
Haskins. Because Hampton could be a lot longer than a month.
I'm taking Haskins because the Chargers play the Dolphins and the Cardinals play the Colts. So I think the matchup is a little bit better.
Yes. I think also the fact that the Cardinals go Colts, Packers, bye.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take Haskins as well.
All right.
Showdown time?
Let's do it.
All righty. It is that sucks on Marion Hampton's hurt. It is the Hassan Haskins Showdown time.
All right, this email's from Dave.
D-Bone.
Good show.
Craig's mentions of farming and wine sent up my bat signal. I own and operate a small vineyard. Bells Up Winery. Shout out Bells Up Winery. He owns and operates a small vineyard and winery in the Willamette Valley in Oregon.
Willamette.
There we go.
Willamette. He actually wrote out the thing for me to pronounce it. He said Willamette. Willamette. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's in Oregon. We are currently in the middle of harvest. I appreciate your pod keeping going. We have 7 planted acres of wine grapes. Grow several different varieties of grapes, mostly Pinot Noir. And it goes
hang out at this place.
And
I have been to the Willamette Valley. It's lovely.
Oh, really? There you go. So he says we have 7 planted acres of wine grapes. We grow different varieties, but when vines are initially planted, it takes about 5 years to get a harvestable crop. And a full croplet of Pinot Noir vines generate about 2.5 tons of grapes per planted acre. He has a question. His question was how many cases of finished wine do we expect to get from an acre? It was a little too complicated because a case has 12 things. I tweaking his question a little bit because I like the spirit of it, which is how many grapes go into a bottle of wine? Pinot Noir.
How many individual grapes?
Yes.
Okay.
I like where he went with this from how many grapes go into a bottle of wine, or we'll go with that.
I don't know the answer to this.
Yeah.
I don't because for the amount of like wineries I've been to and tastings I've been to, they've probably told me every single time, and I've never retained it.
Into one bottle.
Dave's question was a little more nuanced, but it involved a lot of math, and it would be a disaster if we tried.
All right.
3.
Okay.
Just 3 grapes. That was my guess. No, 3, 2, 1.
500.
Did we all say 100?
I said 500.
I said 400.
Oh, I said 100.
Okay.
We're all somewhat in the vicinity of.
I feel like I went high. I don't know.
Okay, I'm googling how
Seems
many.
Not very efficient.
Wow, 500 to 700 grapes.
Woo!
DK.
Wow, look at you, DK.
I feel like I'm imagining just the process of going through it. Yeah, it would take a lot. But
in retrospect, that makes more sense than what I said. Okay, so you get
All
Hassan
right.
Haskins.
Okay.
All right, then I'll take Michael Carter.
Rico, we're not counting Rico Dowdle for this. Are we saying he's available?
No, he's 59% rostered on Yahoo. We're going to say he's not available.
I would take Dowdle over Kimani Vidal. I'll give a shot to Kimani Vidal. I'm curious to see if he can get things going. So I like Kimani Vidal. And if those guys
It annoys me that his last name is pronounced Vidal.
I'm pretty sure I have that right?
I checked. I was checking, and I believe that's correct. But it doesn't look like Vidal.
No, it's like Vidal. But I remember saying Vidal.
It's like Vidal Sassoon. I know, but I'm pretty sure you're right, Heifetz. At least what I was seeing on the internet. But it bothers me that it's Vidal. So there's that.
Well, I said Vidal a lot.
That.
I don't know if that means anything to you, but in terms of if you're going to, try and waiver him.
Thank you for letting us know.
Other running backs, if you're really down bad, I would just shout out. There's a whole class of guys now that are just kind of playing time that might get a job eventually that are just kind of dart throws if you're really down bad. But like a Kyle Manung guy for the Bears, who I wonder if coming out of the bye, he just is clearly the backup. Swift is not breaking tackles. And I think Kyle Manung guy is kind of more quote unquote in between the tackles, like north-south guy. And I kind of wonder if he gets a larger role as a rookie going forward. Kendrick Miller for the Saints he's just playing a lot. He's just playing a lot for the Saints. And Kamara, I do think is
what if Kamara gets traded?
Kamara is more present and past, and Kendrick Miller is more part of the future of the team.
He looks good too.
He does.
They're like, it's becoming more of a split.
It's almost like when the head coach doesn't literally hate his guts and try to put him on injured reserve out of spite. The Kendrick Miller thrives. So there's guys like Isaiah Davis on the Jets, but we're just Braylon Allen's out 2 to 3 months, so he's the backup. But those guys honestly are guys we could have recommended, but now that there's not a feeding frenzy, but there's like new life here. So yeah, Haskins and Vidal are definitely the guys, even though again, they might suck, but all these guys might suck. We're going to keep rolling here, but first, this episode is brought to you by IKEA. When you're hosting on game day and it comes to cooking, you want a kitchen that everyone there will be a fan of, no matter what your kitchen dreams are. IKEA has products and solutions to help, from kitchen remodels to smart new cutlery. Whatever the size of your kitchen dream and budget, you can bring it to life with high quality, expertly designed, and innovative products from IKEA. Visit IKEA.us/dreamkitchen to learn more. Dream the possibilities.
You crushed that read. Nice job.
Wow. Thanks, Craig. Appreciate that.
That was really smooth. That felt good.
I thought I said dream well. Expertly is a word I can say really well.
It was good. It had good cadence, good pace, good pronunciation.
I'll try. Appreciate it.
Just gassing him up.
Yeah.
Well, with good cadence. Receivers. I actually said that because I was staring
transition not as clean.
No, not as
clean.
that. I used it all in the ad. God, she stole the brain power in the ad, man. Look, what can you say? I was staring at Eli Manor for the Titans, and I was like, he has good cadence. But yeah, receivers weird because frankly, the guys who popped are rostered. I don't know how else to say it. People like there isn't some magic gem guy who popped this week that's like he's super available. It's kind of a bunch of guys we probably already talked about. With that said, DK, like of this usual cast of characters. If anyone at receiver, you would if you need to like kind of pick up and play this week.
I'm probably going back to the well with Kendrick Bourne for the 49ers. Juwan Jennings is banged up, multiple injuries. Ricky Pearsall has a knee injury. I think they're going to probably play it safe a little bit with him. And Purdy is also banged up with multiple injuries. So Mac Jones might just be the starter for the next couple of weeks. We'll see. Obviously, this is a little bit speculative, but Mac Jones has good chemistry with Bourne. He came in, had 11 targets in this game on Thursday night.
He was
catches,
incredible. We didn't even talk about that
yards.
game. That game was unbelievable.
Yeah. It's too bad we did. It's really simple. Kendrick Bourne was really good for Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco for 4 years. He was the Juwan Jennings before Jennings. He was the third down guy for the Bourne for that first Super Bowl run they made. Then Kendrick Bourne went and played with Mac Jones to the Patriots. So it's kind of like Thursday night, hey, Pearsall's out, Jennings is out. None of these guys have ever caught passes from the Niners, from Purdy, but Mac Jones is playing. And it's like, well, hey, one guy knows the offense and the quarterback. And so he got all the targets. So I agree, DK.
Craig, speaking of like Rico Dowdle, like feeling yourself for starting a guy, even though it's very scary. Yep. I started Bourne in 2 leagues, 2 of my redraft leagues.
I started him as well. I was like a fucking king. Yeah, I started Mac Jones.
I can't be killed
this week. Yeah,
I'll never die.
Never
gonna die. So
I'm just going back to well with him. I think
if Ricky Pearsall plays, would you play him?
Yeah, if one of the two,
plays, I'm still comfortable playing him. If both Pearsall and Jennings are playing, I'll probably not be starting him, and then I'll have to like look elsewhere.
I agree with that, Craig.
Yeah, I do too. So how does that work? It's like because they're playing the Bucks. Like, can we say Kendrick Bourne if only one of the 2 receivers return, and if not, we pick a different guy?
Well, I think
you got to add it.
You have
to
make a choice. I think we say pick him up because if either of those guys sit, if Jennings or Pearsall sit.
Also, it's the Niners. The other guys are going to get hurt again.
Yeah. I would say just pick him up and see. Just be careful about whether you start him, but I think you want to prioritize him on the waiver.
Yeah. I think I'm comfortable doing that. The second guy, I guess we'll get to it after trivia. You want to do Kendrick Bourne?
I think Kendrick Bourne, showdown time. Yeah.
All right. It is the Kendrick Bourne showdown time. Bang. Love that gong.
I love that gong. That's all I got, man. This email's from Willie
W. Bone.
Will says, for breakfast, I had 3 scrambled eggs and a Keurig cup of coffee with oat milk.
Nice. 3 scrambled eggs.
Yeah.
I like straight protein.
Will says, I feel like you guys would love Fat Bear Week. I'm always surprised you've never talked about Fat Bear Week on the show ever. Craig looks puzzled.
Oh, I was really into Fat Bear Week for a while.
I don't know what that is.
Fat Bear Week. So, well, Will included the synopsis.
It's live cams, Craig.
So
you can watch the Bears.
It's
live cams?
Before
The Kenai
Cam Girls,
Peninsula?
there
I
were
was
Cam
going to say that
Bears.
was something else.
It's only Bears. So,
Is it on Omegle? Where do you watch?
Omega 3s more like, because they're eating fish, baby. So the official Fat Bear Week website says, vote for the fattest bear of the year. Some of the largest brown bears on earth. How have you never heard of this? What are some of the largest brown bears on earth make their home at Brooks River in Katmai National Park, Alaska. Brown bears get fat to survive for the winter, and Fat Bear Week is an annual tournament celebrating their success in preparation for hibernation. It's a single elimination tournament. The matchups are open for voting, and each matchup, you watch the live cams of the bears eating salmon and being fat, and you vote for the bear that you believe best exemplifies fatness and success in brown bears. And the bear with the most votes advances to the next round. Only one bear will be crowned Fat Bear Week champion. And
So you just watch the bears and vote on who you think kind of looks the fattest.
yeah, it's incredible. They're huge. They're chunky. It's unbelievable.
What a
dude. It's
scientific-
crazy. Because
that's
there's so much salmon swimming up the river. They just kind of walk in, they just kind of pluck one, eat. They don't have
Dude,
time.
these
It's amazing.
salmon just hop into their mouths. It's
Crazy. So,
Except when I was in Canada, I went fly fishing, didn't catch one fucking salmon.
Well, you're not a bear, bud.
that's why you're so skinny. Probably because you probably can't fish where all the bears are just like pounding salmon. Seems
I
super
was
dangerous.
afraid that I was going to run into a bear, but there was no salmon in the water, so maybe they weren't interested.
I think the bears that are fishing there are not really as interested in humans because the
There's
eating's
so much-
too good. The salmon's just like I could just eat a salmon.
So anyway, Will's question is: last year, Grazer beat out her rival Chunk. The trivia question is: how much did Chunk weigh in pounds?
Chunk lost.
Chunk lost.
Grazer won?
Grazer doesn't sound like a fat bear.
No, that's a good point. But the Fat Bear Week is unbelievable. You seen the photos of these guys?
No,
Well,
where do
they
you
get-
wait? So where do you
Just-
watch this?
There's like
YouTube.
live cams, Craig.
Google
Just
Fat
Google
Bear Week.
Fat Bear Week. Yeah.
But live cams where?
Set up
the
on
national
the
park
river.
sets them up. Like they
Like
have
on their website or something?
yeah,
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
on the internet videos.
You
Dude,
sound
Google
like me,
the Fat
Craig.
Bear Week. The bear
How do you
it's
download
fatter
this
than you think.
onto your iPad?
Well, I didn't know if it was like you could like I don't know. If it was on TV or something like Shark Week. I didn't know how popular it was.
I think they're on YouTube.
It's on
They're
yeah.
YouTube videos, live streams.
I
I have
it's on
watched
Howdy.
these before. I used to put these on in the background when I was working. It's actually very fun.
Fat Bear Week's amazing. Anyway, so how big is Chunk? I'm not gonna lie. I made my guess already when I read this email, so I will.
How
read the guess
how
that I
fat
made.
was Chunk?
a big bear.
Okay.
I
Shit.
kind of don't have the best frame of reference for how heavy bears are.
I don't either.
I
Got
don't
a
spend a lot
number
of
in
time out in the
Smell the
woods with
blood.
bears. These
All
are
right, well,
brown bears, you
get it.
said?
Yeah, brown bears. Get it. All right, get a number. Come on. How long will you spend on
All right,
this?
all right.
3, 2, 1. 800.
1,200 pounds.
Okay.
To 12.
I said 15. Craig said 12. What did you say, Heifetz?
I said 800.
I'm probably
Get the
I'm
fuck
probably too
out.
high.
It's 1,200 pounds.
Bang!
Once again, the person who knows the least will always do the best. Craig's never heard of Fat Bear Week and gets it to the number.
Never heard of that.
It's unbelievable.
1,200 pound bears?
Dude, it's a
Lordy.
big bear.
That's a tremendous looking bear you got there.
I feel like I'd be more afraid of a skinny bear because that bear's hungry.
I feel like
Mad.
bears are one of the coolest animals out
Bears
there.
are crazy.
Hairless bear.
Faster than
like
horses in
that.
short distances. Anyway, Craig, you get, who are we talking about? Oh, Kendrick, Bourne, Dika. Who do you get when?
Damn, this is a bad beat because there's not a lot of great options here. Let's see. We talked about Ryan Flournoy last night.
Mhm.
No
The Cowboys with CD out for a while. He's an option, 6 catches last week for 114 yards. Alec Pierce is another option. I guess I'll go with Flournoy, but I don't feel great about it.
You go Flournoy over
Really?
like a Troy Franklin over AMA.
You know how I
Titans
feel
are
about
playing the
Troy
Raiders.
Yeah, he won't touch a Bronco.
Troy Franklin is probably the more rational choice here, but again, I don't want to play whack-a-mole with the fucking Broncos every week. I'm just like not interested in Troy Franklin at all. Even though he did get 8 targets this last week, so he's probably the rational choice. My irrational brain doesn't want to have to deal with Sean Payton every week, so I'm staying away.
Fair enough. I respect everyone's right to be irrational.
But there's not a lot of there are no other obvious
and
options,
you probably
I
don't
think.
need one necessarily because again, it's like who's on. I think there's more. I mean, maybe you don't have to plug and play these guys, but I will say Troy Franklin for the Broncos. I would take him. The Broncos are facing the Jets. Aaron Glenn played for Sean Payton as a player. He coached for Sean Payton. I kind of think Sean Payton could really rock that defense. So we shall see. Romeo Doubs, I feel like I would take him, but I feel like he might not be available. I do want to bring him up just because he might have gotten cut because the Packers were on bye. I would probably
he would
take
be
Romeo.
my top choice here, even over
100%.
Bourne.
He's 50% roster, but if he's there, get him first.
He had 3 touchdowns versus Dallas. I want to mention him because he's rostered a lot, but the odds that someone cut him are solid because, again, they were on bye. So if he's available, I would take him. The other people I want to shout out who had their injured reserve practice windows open, which is complicated now, but basically it means they get to be activated at some point in the next 3 weeks. But even then, it's like they could be 2 to 3 weeks away from returning and then ramped up. But Jalen Coker for the Panthers, who is good, and so good that the Panthers traded away Adam Thielen to get Jalen Coker playing time, that he got hurt within like 30 hours of that happening. So then Jalen Coker was in injured reserve. I don't even think he's going to play this week, but if you have an IR slot and it's empty, I would put Jalen Coker directly, like on Yahoo, you can put him directly into the IR spot actually from waivers. I would just do that because I think Jalen Coker could be like a real contributor down the second half. I'm not saying his first game back from injured reserve, you play him. I'm not saying that's even going to happen next week or two, but he's good. Christian Watson too. I don't know if Christian Watson's going to have any impact this season. He tore his ACL late in the year. That's always bad. But I was surprised that the Packers, it seems like they're going to open his practice window up, which again is a 3-week window for them activated, and then he's going to have to play. But eventually, Christian Watson's another example of a guy that if you have an IR spot that happens to be empty and you're looking at receivers and buys coming up, but also I don't think Watson or Coker are playing soon. So, the other person I want to throw out if you're desperate, Torrey Horton for the Seahawks, I think kind of all he does is catch touchdowns. I feel like that's a good example of a rookie receiver early in the season is whatever. And then as the season goes, I wouldn't be shocked that Horton's good.
He looks good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. DeAndre Hopkins, if you're desperate, and here's why. The Ravens defense sucks and they're going to have to fucking throw. And I know the Texans made the Ravens look bad, but I will say they're going to have Cooper Rush going to have to throw some balls to DeAndre Hopkins at some point for if you're desperate for a touchdown, because if we're talking about guys this deep, it's like a Hopkins, it's an Isaac Tesla. You're kind of just praying for a deep shot. I'm not saying you're there, but if you're really in a deep league,
shot.
I know, I don't think so either, but I'm saying if you're really desperate, if you're really down bad and you're like, Tyquan Thornton is gone, I would take Tyquan Thornton over these guys, even with Rashid like 1 week away. You know what I mean? So with that said, yeah. And then also, Luther Burden off a bye, I think is an upside guy. Just if you want to pick, if you kind of want to cycle through, like what happens out of the bye week, you could go back to cutting Luther Burden, but out of the Bears bye, it's similar to Kyle Monungai for me, where it's like, I want to see what Ben Johnson comes out of the bye with some rookies. Do they accelerate out of the bye or not?
We didn't mention Eli Kyle-Manor on Tennessee, who the Titans have been getting killed with their schedule. It's opening up now. Like they play the Raiders this week.
This is the worst defense Tennessee will face all year.
Yes,
I think pretty easily.
We saw Calvin Ridley put up 130 yards. He's also pretty banged up. So it's like Kyle-Manor versus the Raiders. You could do worse.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of you could do worse, tight ends, the actual theme of you could do worse, which is just every year with tight end, you could do worse. With that said, DK, going into week 6, who is the tight end you would add off of waivers this week if you need one?
Well, I think obviously if Darren Waller is out there, he's probably not. He's rostered in a lot of leagues.
If he's there, I would definitely get him. He's for
grab
sure.
Waller. Mason Taylor, rookie tight end for the Jets, who was a guy that I highlighted a couple weeks ago as just someone to keep in mind because he's playing a ton of snaps. He's their starting tight end. And he's out on the field, and that's certainly something. And this last week, he had 12 targets, 9 catches, 67 yards, plus a 2-point conversion. He's basically the number 2 receiver in this offense, unless you count Breece Hall. But yeah, I think he's going to continue to improve. I think he looks good out there. Like he had made a couple of nice catches this last week. He is 7th in the NFL among tight ends in target rate, 19%. 19% target rate at tight end. The fact that that's out on the waiver wire is like pretty solid. So I would probably go with Mason Taylor.
Right. I agree. I have Mason Taylor as well. I mean, he's like playing a lot, over 80% of snaps. The Jets only have 3 players with over 150 receiving yards this year. It's Garrett Wilson, it's Breece Hall, and it's Mason Taylor.
Yeah.
They're playing the Broncos this week. Pat Surtain's probably going to be on Garrett Wilson. We saw the Eagles just play the Broncos, and Dallas Goedert had a season-high 9 targets. So I think short-term Mason Taylor is a play this week if you have guys on bye or beat up, like if you have Brock Bowers or something like that. And I think long-term, I think Mason Taylor's good, and he's quietly been playing just a ton for a rookie tight end out the gate. I know Heifetz is anti-Jets. You're probably not going to go.
It's a great... my cousin Vinny, Mr. Gambini, that's a lucid, reasoned, well-thought-out argument. Overruled. I'm just like, I respect that, but the way DK can be irrational about the Broncos, I've just seen too much of the Jets. I've just seen the Jets passing game. I've seen the vibes, and I can't if I'm going to lose on a Sunday, I can't lose because I had a rookie tight end and I'm counting on Justin Fields to complete passes to him. So I actually have Mason Taylor like third, and I actually think if I actually need someone this week, I'd put him fourth among the guys. Having said that, mine's also ridiculous. I kind of just keep wondering. I'm between Taysom Hill and AJ Barner, and honestly, I kind of keep thinking it's Taysom Hill, which is, I understand, ridiculous. But I would probably add Taysom Hill because one, I'm an addict.
I'm not gonna talk poorly about that. Love me some Taysom Hill.
It's funny.
He threw a pass in this last
dude.
game.
Taysom Hill. There really is no. Honestly, the only comp to Taysom Hill in the 21st century, I think, is like Tim Tebow, because Taysom Hill, 35 years old, coming off a torn ACL, first game off IR, plays 9 snaps on offense, lines up at quarterback on like 6 of them, gets 6 carries, gains no yardage, which I admit. It's
-1, in fact.
He lost a yard, which generally that is bad, and I admit that. However, all these guys, all these tight ends, what are we happy with? 40 yards and a touchdown, right? All these guys were like
that's 5 catches for 30 yards.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay.
What you're hoping for.
We're all playing touchdown roulette with these guys anyway. I would like the guy that even in his first game back in limited snaps, they lined him up at quarterback 6 times, and he got 6 carries, and he threw a 19-yard pass. And I'm like, if I'm going to play the touchdown roulette, I would like the guy that even the new coach is giving Taysom Hill all these packages. I acknowledge that he's as likely as any of these guys to get 0 points, but I'm kind of like, he's the only one that's going to get you 30. And so I like that idea. I understand a more rational argument, and I would take him over Mason Taylor too, is AJ Barner for the Seahawks. I'm surprised, DK, that you didn't take AJ Barner. There's a thin line between playing whack-a-mole and being like, well, he had 2 touchdowns, so I'll get him. And then you just count on that happening again. That's dumb. Having said that, having seen what I've seen from the Seahawks offense, moving the ball, and Sam Darnold, and frankly, Darnold takes shots. Darnold gives guys shots. And I kind of think Darnold trusts AJ Barner. And I just would rather bet on a guy who's clearly going to be playing for the Seahawks offense than the Jets offense if we're talking about passing and points and touchdowns and yards.
Well, you mentioned playing. The only problem with AJ Barner is he doesn't play that much. He's only out there for like 2/3 of the passing attempts. That's the only downside is he really doesn't play a whole lot. I really just would. He leads the teams in touchdowns. And I know that's dumb, but last year, how many times we're like, well, Zach Ertz, he can't keep doing this. At some point, there's a dynamic between players, and I just don't want to.
They definitely use him in the red zone. He's like a big, strong, and they use him in a lot of situations where they're running play action. So that's like, he's been kind of a leak guy or whatever, like coming out on the backside or in the flats and kind of giving Sam Darnold an option. He actually is 3rd in the NFL among tight ends in red zone targets with 5. Yeah, but 12% target rate, not going to be consistent.
It's
like Craig said, he's not playing a ton. It's just like, he could go out next week and have 0 catches and it wouldn't be very surprising at all. But I do like him. I think he's a good player, and the Seahawks really like him. They're using him, especially in the red zone. And I think obviously he has some chemistry with Sam Darnold. So I don't hate this. I think with any of these guys, you're kind of just hoping for a touchdown.
That's the thing. It's desperate. It's totally desperate.
I would probably go with the guy who had 12 targets though, personally, but I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, the Jets, it's just desperation though. It's just garbage time, and I'm like, they can't move the ball.
He's a high second rounder, or at least he was a middle second rounder.
You're right. Again, you guys are probably right. I am being irrational. I want to be clear about this. You're probably right. You should probably take, because again, it's the combo if he could do something this week, but there's more of a runway for the rest of the season. That's why I would take him over like Jake Tonjes, where I'm like, if you have George Kittle, I actually think at this point just add Jake Tonjes for the Niners. I really do.
Tonjes.
I don't know how to say his name. I'm sure tongues. He's speaking tongues. I kind of just, the Niners are playing the Bucs this week, and I'm like, I just saw AJ Barner catch 2 touchdowns against the Bucs, and did they have 5 straight touchdown drives versus the Bucs? I'm kind of like, Shannon, it's 10 days to prep for this Bucs defense, and I'm like, if you have Kittle and you're waiting for Kittle to come back, just freaking add Taunt. If you don't have him already, just get Tonjes. I get that it was like he had never caught a pass before, and like he's clearly just part of the offense, and he's as good of a bet to just score a touchdown this week as anyone. Obviously, when Kittle comes back, he's toast. But if you have Kittle and you're kind of like screwed, or if you have Bowers, I'm like, just do it, man. But I understand like Mason Taylor, all those guys who have longer runways are way better.
So let's do trivia. DK and I will battle it out for Mason Taylor, and Heifetz, you're just along for the ride.
Yeah, I mean, look, you guys are taking a very highly drafted second rounder at LSU who's playing all the time, and I have a 35-year-old positionless man coming off an ACL tear. So tomato.
All right, is the Mason Taylor, just for me and DK, but Heifetz is here too. Showdown time.
This is from Dusty.
Dusty. Man, the name Dusty makes me. Oh no, it's Rusty. I thought of Rusty. Ocean's 11. Did you hear that Ocean's 14 is happening?
Really?
Yes.
Well, do we
When?
do this now or do we do this at the end of the show? I have so many questions.
I don't know. I don't have the answers to those questions. I'm not making the movie, but I just heard
How
it
did
was
you feel
in
about
production.
it? Well, is there a trailer?
I don't have the answer to any question.
No. They haven't even started shooting yet.
Is Brad Pitt and Clooney and everyone in it? Damon?
Yeah, the people who are alive, I believe, are returning.
Oh my God. Oh, because Saul passed away, right?
A couple is Saul. You're talking about Carl Reiner?
Yeah.
Man. Is there somebody else who's not around?
Oh, Andy Garcia?
No, he's alive.
He's alive, right?
Yeah. Also, he's not one of the.
He's not in. Yeah.
He's
know.
good though. He did a good job.
Do you need one more? He kind of was on their side a little bit there in the end.
Spoilers.
Well,
Anyway,
It's all right. It's all right.
10-year-old.
Yeah.
here's Dustin.
10, 25.
25. That
Well, no.
movie's
When was Ocean's?
Clooney was on
13?
ER.
It's like 01 or something.
Okay.
Wait, Ocean's 13 was?
Oh, I thought you were talking about
no.
Ocean's 11.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. Anyway, this one's from
Ocean's
Dusty.
13 was 2007, so it's still a very long time ago.
Yeah, 18 years ago. God, that's horrible. That's 18
I
years
know,
ago.
I feel old. Anyway, it's from
All right,
Dusty.
wait. So anyway, Dusty, what's up?
So I was listening to your Sunday night recap show while riding my bike to work this morning, and when you mentioned Wahoo McDaniel on the 1959 Sooners, I had my ghost screaming at the podcast moment because I immediately said to no one, I know him. And the reason I know Wahoo McDaniel is I love pro wrestling. And while I knew Wahoo McDaniel played college and professional football, I know Wahoo McDaniel is a popular wrestler for the AWA and NWA, where Wahoo McDaniel held the NWA United States Championship 5 times.
Of course he did.
Which a lot of people hit us up with this. So my trivia question is, this is from Dusty, if you combine all 5 of Wahoo McDaniel's championship reigns, how many combined days was Wahoo the U.S. champion?
So he was the champion 5 times?
5 times. So how many days did he spend
how-
as the champ combined?
I have no idea how wrestling championships work.
Wrestling is a massive blind spot for me.
Yeah.
I have no idea, but I can come up with a number. Let's do it.
Yeah. All right. 3, 2, 1.
420.
You said
Okay,
420, 500.
I said 1,000. Probably guessed too high.
The answer is 296. Did Craig sweep?
No, DK won the first one, but I did win 2.
Yikes for me.
All righty.
Shout out Wahoo McDaniel.
Wahoo. That's a great name. What was his real name? Like Ed?
I don't know.
Wahoo McDaniel. His name is Ed. Holy
Edward
shit.
Did you just, what the fuck?
Hugh.
Wait, did you just guess his name was Ed and his name's Ed?
I swear on my life, I just guessed his name was Ed.
Are we in a simulation? What is
Ed
happening?
is a very popular name, Heifetz. It's not like
No,
Oh,
that's
that's
the
kind
name.
of
You're
crazy.
unimpressed
What do you
by
mean
that?
Ed is a popular
You're
name?
unimpressed. He just guessed one name and then he was
I'm
right?
not impressed. You're just you're
There's a
acting
lot
like
of common names out there.
you're acting like he guessed like some like really specific thing.
I don't know, man.
I feel like I'm being gaslit now. I'm like,
No,
I'm
no.
like amazed by that. I'm
Okay.
like, Craig's
Go
like,
for
what's his name? Ed? And
I'm
looked up,
impressed,
it's
Craig.
fucking Ed. That's
I'm not
amazing.
gonna fucking have an aneurysm like Heifetz, but
There's
that's
like
fine.
200 names.
Like I basically, if somebody just said like, "Hey, that guy over there, what's his name?" I got it right.
That's correct.
You did a great job, Craig. Ed is like one of the first like 5 names I probably.
This
would
is
guess
how
for
I
someone
know.
in the 50s.
Ed?
Yeah,
I-
in this time era.
All right.
This
Ed,
isn't about
Bob,
Ed.
Frank.
Craig, this isn't about Ed.
I
This
love
is
that
Mike.
DK
I was
shitting on me getting Ed.
It's
I'm
because
not
I
even
was
shitting
excited
on Craig.
about it.
I'm shitting on Heifetz because he's like fucking his mind is blown.
He's mad that I was excited.
Well,
You're being a yum
sure.
yaker. That's what it is.
Okay, go ahead and continue.
Damn, dude, that was crazy.
No, it wasn't Craig. Actually, it was super normal. It's super normal to guess people's names.
His trainer's name was Dory Funk,
I was going to say that.
If you would have gotten that, I would have fucking shit my pants.
whose first name was Dorrance, which I did not know was a name.
Dorrance.
Dorrance Armstrong.
Dorrance
It's on
Armstrong.
Washington.
Yeah, you don't hear a lot about Dorrance anymore.
Dory Funk. Senior.
DK, if you have a second kid, will you go Dorrance?
No, I'll go Ed.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was my grandfather's
And then
name.
no one will need to know his name.
Wilhelm
Everyone will just know it's
Funk.
Ed.
What a
Anyway, so
name.
who wins this? Craig wins. So you get
I'll get Mason.
Mason Taylor, and then I get
So
Taysom
DK,
Hill.
I would say, does DK have the option to take Heifetz's guy here? Like, who has priority now?
No, we've done this 1,000 times. It's like waivers. If you submit a waiver claim for
Right. So
Mason
you
Taylor,
get, I
I
guess you're
submit it
taking
for
Taysom Hill.
So I get
Right.
Taysom. And
So
DK submitted. Now you get to, honestly, I'm curious, do you come around and take AJ Barner or DK? There's a few other guys, but.
Yeah, Barner or, Harold Fannin is still out there for the Browns. He hasn't really done a whole lot lately, but he did have 6 targets last week. He's playing a bunch.
I'm not going to lie.
Go with Barner.
Literally, I'm in 10 leagues. Know. Every league I'm in, Fannin's rostered. I would take Fannin over everyone.
Yeah, okay. 27% on Yahoo. What can I tell you? I'll go with Barner.
Would you take
tensions are high today?
I can tell.
Yeah. Heifetz just this is like a thing that goes back to last year. Heifetz just arbitrarily decides who's on waivers. It's
a little anecdotal. Heifetz is like, well, my league he's taken.
It's like, well, okay, I'm sorry. It's at 27% on Yahoo. An so I'm just going by the numbers.
Would you guys would take Mason Taylor over Fannin though?
I would, yes.
Yeah, I would. I think Fannin was kind of the classic. Everybody freaked out after week 1. Then
he pulled a likely.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So you're taking Fannin?
No, I'm taking Barner.
Heifetz, would you take Taysom Hill over Fannin?
It's funny because in exact opposite ways, I think of them similarly, which is the upside is so much higher than most of these guys. And to be fair, I'm probably underrating. Mason Taylor probably also has a ton of upside because he's a high second-round pick on a team that's playing a lot. He also has upside just in a very traditional way. Fannin's like a receiver that's just playing, but it's the Browns. So what are you going to bank on? It's the Browns. And then Taysom is upside in a peerless kind of way. But I'm kind of like, you're going to scrape by. I just want ceiling. That's kind of my issue with Theo Johnson and the Giants, who also had 2 touchdowns this week. And I'm like, I think when Nair gets
3 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks.
He leads the NFL in red zone targets for tight ends.
And that's the thing. Sometimes when like a receiver gets hurt, we're like, what other receivers will benefit? I'm like, they're probably just going to play 2 tight end sets sometimes. And I think that's what the Giants are doing with Bellinger and Theo Johnson. So Theo Johnson's going to get a lot of end zone looks. I'm like, who's going to be in the end zone more though? I'm like a little nervous about counting on the Jackson Dart Giants with even Darius Slayton now being banged up. The idea, and his neighbor's gone, that like Theo Johnson will keep getting it, but he's also a perfectly reasonable dart throw, so to speak, for Theo Johnson to get a touchdown. But I think the theme is, if you have George Kittle specifically, I like Jake Tonjes just because I think he will actually be pretty good until Kittle plays, and that works for you. Everyone else, I think you probably want more of a season-long option. And yeah, I think so. Okay, so DK, you're getting Fannin. No, you're taking AJ Barner. Sorry, I just...
Yeah, but I do like Fannin too. Either one is kind of just a dart throw, but yeah.
Fannin I like because if David Njoku gets traded, I think that Harold at the deadline, Harold Fannin would be like crazy high upside.
Totally.
That's what I'm thinking about with Fannin.
Yeah.
And if not, he's like every other tight end on waivers. Okay.
I'll be honest, like I'm still hoping Fannin kind of breaks out and does his thing, but yeah, it, like Craig said, it's not looking so good. He kind of pulled a likely, and Njoku's playing a ton still.
The difference to me is likely it took him like 3 years to have that big week 1, and Fannin did it just immediately, and I'm like, that kind of does mean something.
I think Fannin is good for what it's worth. Like he looks the part to me. He's a good body control, really good catches with his hands, like can extend to make catches and keep running. I think he's going to be a very good player. It's just right now it's kind of hit or miss. But also, we didn't really talk about this, but Dylan Gabriel looked pretty solid for the Browns.
He's fine. I kind
of
think Dylan Gabriel, I mean, look, it's not controversial, but like his 3rd round pick, I think Dylan Gabriel could absolutely eke out like an NFL career as somewhere between, like, probably one of the league's more competent backups to a service. I don't know if he's going to be like happy as the Browns' future
like
quarterback.
Their franchise quarterback.
I kind of wouldn't be shocked if, I'm not saying he definitely will be. I wouldn't be shocked if Gabriel's just the quarterback going to Cleveland next season. And it's like, everyone's like, yeah, no, I kind of like him. He's fine. And he becomes like a bad Kirk Cousins. He's small.
It's like in the Rattler area.
He can execute it. However, it's one of those things you talk about and then you're like, wow, this is just because Cleveland, the floor is so low and it's so pathetic that it's like they got through 41 quarterbacks and you're like, this guy will do, but it's just been so bad that we're talking ourselves into it.
If, like you said, if we go into next season and the Browns are just like, yeah, we're going to go with Dylan Gabriel, that's depressing, I think.
I think he can execute the offense, but the ceiling is very low.
Like, if the idea is that he can become Brock Purdy, I mean, sure. But we would need to see a lot, I feel like, in the next 2 months for people to feel comfortable with him being a good starter next year. That's
a good segue, because if I talk about fantasy defenses for a moment, I would suggest first the Pittsburgh Steelers, because they're rostered in a lot of leagues, but also because they were on bye, I think no matter what, check, because sometimes people do cut good defenses on bye no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And so these are very high roster defenses, but the Steelers versus the Browns. Dylan Gabriel in Pittsburgh next week is a different thing. And I just, TJ Watt, Dylan Gabriel, it's worth trying. So if he's available, the other team that is very high rostered, but you never know coming off a bye, the Green Bay Packers. We're playing the Bengals. Don't need to explain. The Bengals offenses looked horrible, minus garbage time versus the Lions. They had to go 28-3. They were down. Packers coming off a bye. I know they're rostered, but if the Packers are available versus the Bengals, those are two unbelievable options. And the Rams versus the Ravens, which is also self-explanatory. If the Rams defense is available for whatever reason, obviously the Ravens look, as Craig said yesterday, like honestly, kind of like the worst 2 or 3 teams in football.
Yeah.
If none of those teams are available, I would say the Patriots versus the Saints, Vrabel, and I just really can't say enough about Vrabel's week-to-week game planning. I think it's the best in the league by a lot. And if he beat the Bills and Josh Allen, I really do think the Pats could kind of put the Spencer Rattler offense in its place. So I actually kind of like the Patriots defense, even though maybe statistically there's some questions, but I think that Vrabel will really be able to limit the Saints. Titans are playing the Raiders. It's just Geno Smith leads the league in picks and Titans defense. I know it's tough to pick a Titans team where the offense puts them in such bad spots, but if you do want to pick 6 potential on a random defense, which happens every week, the Titans are there. Colts versus the Cardinals, which is just, Colts defense is kind of awesome, man. Mm-hmm. Like Lou Anarumo, what the Colts are doing, the Colts are actually doing some really cool stuff, and the Colts defense is legit.
Cardinals are prone to wacky stuff.
Yeah. So the obvious ones are Rams, Packers, Steelers because of the matchups, but if they're not available, Patriots, Titans, Colts. I hope one of those teams will be available for you.
Yeah.
All right. And then quarterback really quick. I don't know how many people need a quarterback, but I mean, Jackson Dart, if he's there. And the other one I'd say is Bryce Young, which is, God, gives me the heebie-jeebies, but if you're desperate, you're desperate. But they're playing Dallas, and Dallas is certainly going to put up points on Panthers. So it's kind of, even if the Panthers have no points through 40 minutes, I kind of still think Bryce Young could still have a great fantasy performance. And again, I know I'm recommending Bryce Young, but you're desperate enough to consider it. So I think Dart and Bryce Young are the two guys that I would throw.
I mean, also Mac Jones, dude.
Yeah.
Mac Jones.
Yeah, if Mac Jones is available, yes.
I mean, he's 4% rostered. He's been very good the games he's played. He had 22 points last week. He's had 2 games of 20 or more points this year already. Like, they're playing the Bucks.
I know it sounds like a hot take, but we talked about this at the time with quarterback nature versus nurture. I really do believe Mac Jones would have had an alternate universe career if the Niners had just taken him 12th or whatever in that draft. If the Niners had just not traded up and had 2 extra first rounders they had used and just had Mac Jones and stuck pat and took him, I think Mac Jones would have been what we now think of as Brock Purdy.
Yeah, that sliding door is wild to think about.
Well, it's kind of like if Mahomes went to the Bears and sucked because they would have played him immediately and not been coached by Andy Reid. And Mahomes sucked and like washed out. And we'd be like, oh, can't believe you took him 3rd. Imagine if I told you there was this alternate universe where Patrick Mahomes was like literally Tom Brady's heir. I kind of think Mac Jones would have won 2 Super Bowls by now if they had just taken him.
I wonder how likely it is that, let's say Purdy's pretty banged up all year and Mac Jones has like a pretty solid season. If he signs a decent contract, like a 1-year contract somewhere, goes and actually play, like he goes to the Browns or something and plays well and just kind of revives his career and goes to the right team in the right system.
Can I throw out a team? Minnesota Vikings? I letting Darnold, if McCarthy doesn't pan out, and again, he has years to pan out, as we're seeing, like quarterbacks take time. If McCarthy sucks, though, all time, letting Darnold go is going to, like, it's maybe haunts Minnesota forever.
Forever.
All right, maybe forever's a lot dramatic.
No, I've been thinking about that too a lot the last few weeks, is like how much Minnesota is like, fuck, we should have re-signed Sam. Obviously, they had a plan. And
it was such a difficult
an injury
position.
happened.
It's easy to revisionist history. That was a very difficult thing. We took a first-round quarterback. The bridge guy's great. You pay him 35 to stay. You know what I mean? It's tough. And he might not have taken the same money because he wants to play.
Right.
You'd overpay him to maybe not play.
Those last 2 games, I think, made it a little bit easier, at least for the Minnesota front office to kind of justify the decision.
Yeah.
Because if Darnold had played well and they went to like the NFC Championship and almost made the Super Bowl or something like that, and it wasn't Darnold's fault.
And this is, you know what a good example this is too? The Daniel Jones thing with the Giants. Did you guys and everyone in the world not make fun of the Giants relentlessly for giving him the contract? Imagine for a moment if the Giants had not let him walk and he went to the Colts and played like this. What the fuck would everyone be saying about the Giants letting Daniel Jones go? It's easy to criticize, but like, a lot of things, there's always more possibilities than you think.
I do think the statistical nature of Darnold's season last year, though, it was just so much more spectacular than what Daniel Jones did. It felt like it felt like Dayball kind of like schemed up a playoff win in that season with Daniel Jones versus Darnold, who felt like, even though he had O'Connell in the system, like Darnold was fucking crushing it. He was like top 5 in like every passing metric.
Yeah. Darnold's lows were lower than Jones. Well, maybe that's not even true, but the highs, Darnold that always was a significantly better prospect with way more talent, obviously, than Jones. I mean, Jones was a stretch at 6. Darnold was just always was a really toolsy guy. So
I think it's just really cool that all these guys are having kind of second chances and second wins in their career. Like Baker, like Geno obviously is like not playing well this year, but Geno having a second life on his career has been awesome. Darnold, Daniel Jones, like I'm happy for all these guys. It's good. And I think it's good for the league because the league needs quarterbacks. You know what I mean? And coming out of the draft, it's very hit or miss, especially with when you look at some of the college offenses and like the way that they're developing guys. So yeah, if you look at some of the things that are happening in college football right now with transfer portal and you can stay a little bit longer and things like that. And then in addition, teams seem more willing to give guys a second chance and kind of give them another shot at being starters. Like it's all good. The NFL needs more quarterbacks, honestly.
The Aaron Rodgers revival, right?
Yeah. It's great. It's great what's going on.
You know what I mean?
Okay, a couple emails here.
You don't think he's revived?
Mm-hmm. Okay. I keep asking the question, why can't punters kick and kickers punt? Like, what's going on?
Did we get an answer?
We do. We have an answer.
All
There's
right.
a basic answer and then a real answer. So one is from Eli. A lot of people emailed us, and I apologize. I know people emailed us this last year.
Eli.
It's E-Pie. That's what Eli Manning's mom calls him, E-Pie. So a lot of people emailed us this last year, but the answer of just the Colts kicker gets hurt. Why doesn't the punter kick? There is a short-term answer, which is Eli writes, well, I sleep an extra 10 minutes instead of eating breakfast. So Eli doesn't eat breakfast.
Wow. Efficient.
It's probably 22, right?
That feels like too... young people love breakfast, though.
Yeah.
That's true. You're growing.
I feel like sleeping 40. An extra 10 minutes.
The older you get,
like
I feel like the less likely you are to eat breakfast.
That's true. Yeah. So Eli writes, punters are typically the holder. Catching the ball from the long snapper. Placing it correctly. Takes a ton of practice. So they can't really have anyone else doing that if the punter's going to kick.
I mean, that was the reason that was given to us in the past, and I understand it, but I don't agree with it.
It's one of those things.
Do more than one thing.
I know it's one of those things.
Well, you got to have a second holder, right?
Yeah, well, maybe have another guy that can do it.
But that doesn't answer the punter thing, where the Raiders punter gets hurt. Which again, we're seeing block kicks every week. The guy's leg gets hit, and you get the ball, and he gets injured. It's fine. So who's your holder? Like you need a backup holder too. That's not really an answer. It's like, oh, so the punter got it. So that means the punter gets hurt. You can't punt or kick field goals. Like you need a holder. Mm-hmm. Here's the real answer. Chris Cluey. Sorry, that was like a tongue twister. Chris Cluey.
Chris
Cluey.
Chris Cluey, who was the punter for the Vikings for a long time. Now he's kind of like an activist, but he does a lot on the internet. And he did a Reddit AMA, and someone asked him this question, and he gave an incredible answer. And so he said there's two answers. He said, first of all, he starts the answer with, I feel like I have to answer this every couple of months. Which, yeah, you know what? You do. Sorry.
It's like the only thing he gets. It's like people seeing like Jason Alexander on the street. They're like, George! It's like, pick something else.
So he says, you don't see hybrid kickers and punters, and you never will, because of two reasons. I love it, you never will. Confident. And he says, the motions interfere with each other. Kicking is a swivel motion in the hips. Punting's more straight on. And if you mix them up.
Interfere with each other.
Yeah, and he says, if you mix them up.
I don't accept that answer. What's the next one?
I know. See, I'm like, I just watched Shohei Ohtani strike out Kyle Schwarber.
Once again, please be able to do more than one thing.
Do two things.
That's all I ask.
One is a swivel and one is straight?
So that's the thing. He said basically one will mess up the other.
Professional athletes.
Well, that's the thing. So he says, here's the real answer. This is more importantly. He says it's not physiologically possible to do that much kicking over a 21-week period. Now, to be clear, though, he's talking about being both on the same team. The question was, could you be a kicker and a punter for the season? And his answer was, the practice schedule is punt coverage. He says basically there's no rest. And like you don't think of pitchers, obviously in baseball, need to rest their arms. It's like kickers need to rest their legs. And you don't think about it. We don't think about the special teams portion of practice, but his answer is practice schedule on Wednesdays is like punt coverage, punt return, field goals. Thursday is kickoff return, field goals Thursday, punt coverage, punt return are Friday. And notice how they stagger it kicking days by position, and so that the kicker gets 2 days of rest before the game after kickoff day. And he says that is so your leg doesn't explode into a million billion tiny shards of red hot muscle agony. And our special teams coaches actually keep track of how many kicks we're taking throughout the week so we don't overkick and injure something, kind of like a pitcher. And he says, as it is already, currently, It's already a tight balancing act between getting enough reps for the coverage guys on special teams to practice versus us pulling a muscle so that they can get reps. That's already a balance. So adding in the practice time on your non-specialty thing would be quite taxing on your leg. Now, he's talking about that in the course of, could you be both a kicker and a punter for the whole season? I still don't know why they can't do it in an emergency.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. Practice during the offseason then. I don't fucking care.
But so that's
this reminds me of like the
F-22.
It's like the $5 billion plane that can't fly in the rain or something. It's like, come on. Like, it's not practice in the offseason then.
Does that satisfy you, Craig?
No. So I feel like half the problem is that these punters have to punt a lot so that the punt squad can like practice.
Well, yeah, they need reps and the punters punting, which again, that is funny to me.
What I feel like we could maybe make a lot of money if we just invented a machine that could like create a punt, a simulated punt.
Oh,
so
they have
the punter.
That.
Well, then why don't they just do that?
They kind of have a punter here. They're like, just do that.
But I thought it was like they fear that they are going to pull their muscle every week because they're having to kick so much in practice. Why don't they just use the machine then?
I don't know, man. I guess they want to practice against the real punter. I think if they're going to block a kick or whatever, they want to actually practice, but you don't want to touch them. I don't know. It's funny because I get that's a good answer. About like, yeah, you need to rest your leg.
Yeah, it makes sense. I get it.
Let me ask
when
you
the
this,
other kicker gets hurt,
it's a catastrophe.
Do they really? I guess what I'm surprised is I understand why a punter from 40 plus would be like, yeah. I kind of just surprised an NFL punter, which again, they're specialized. And I understand specialties in the body is different. Having said that, all these guys are pretty confident. I'm kind of surprised a punter doesn't think he could make a 33-yard field goal.
Yeah,
they're like not even like letting them take fucking extra points. Like the Colts had to go for 2 on every play. I mean, it didn't matter in this game, right? That was the Colts, right?
Yeah, but the holder thing I get, but I'm like, so if the punter gets hurt, there's no field goals? Like, who's the backup holder?
Well, I guess the calculus is like, what percentage field goals made would you have to, like, what is the highest percent field goals made would you accept to not go for 2 every time? Like, if you bring this punter in and he can hit like 60% of his 35-yard field goals, is that worth kicking it, or should you just go for 2?
Well, the irony is you should probably just go for 2 every time anyway.
Right. So. Like, basically, I would say, because the kicker, in theory, makes like 100% of their extra points or whatever. So it's like the punter would have to be nails for you to not just go for 2. So I guess might as well just go for 2 anyway.
Okay, fair enough. So anyway, that was the answer. Yeah, that was the answer.
Like, even if they're like 75% success rate on extra points, is that really worth it to like miss 1 of every 4 or just go for fucking 2?
I guess not. It's almost like the other 32 teams have thought of this, but yeah.
Let's not give them that much credit. But yes, you're probably right, but let's not like appeal to authority here. Teams do a lot of stupid shit.
Another email here. Andy just points out that I said Temu and Craig was like, it's Temu, and it is Temu.
Well, okay. Andy actually DM'd me or like mentioned me and said everyone's big takeaway. There was an ad where they said Temu, and everyone's big takeaway was that no, it's fucking Temu. Like they were mad at the company. Yeah, like no, everyone like agrees that it's Temu except the company themselves. Like everybody says Temu.
That's tough for me because I want to be right, but I actually agree generally that I'm like, yeah, just if everyone says that, it's fine.
Like
Temu? What does Temu mean? What is it?
It's a company.
Is it short for something?
Oh, I don't know.
It's an app that turned like the way that imagine the most like deep fried, crazy brain rot style ads on the internet. And they were like, what if we just sold you actual products? That was everything we did, was the most low hanging fruit ad possible.
But I don't know what
they made it like a slot machine.
But DK's asking, what does Temu actually mean?
Which I don't know the answer
to that. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Like, where'd they come up with this name?
Like, is that an acronym? I don't know.
Well, it's a Chinese company, right?
Temu.
I'm Googling Temu in Mandarin. It doesn't mean anything.
All right. Well, that's cool.
Oh, it means team up, price down. So it stands for team, and it's not Temu. That's a huge miss. What are they doing? What are they doing?
I feel like we just came up with the answer here.
What does it stand for? Wait, we said team up, price down?
Gemini says that, but who knows? It's Gemini.
Oh, their motto is team up, price down.
Their motto is team up, price down, but they call it Temu. That's a marketing team being like, guys, you should call it Temu. I think it's Temu now. All right. Okay, last one here. I'm like uncomfortable even talking about this. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you are listening and you don't want like a bunch of fart noises to play, I would just end the show. Just end the show. Just end the show.
A lot of, like a handful of emails of people who have already made fart or shart.
Oh, no.
If I am one of these people myself and I'm physically uncomfortable with this, but I don't like listening to fart noises. It makes me more uncomfortable than funny. However, Craig asked the fart or shart thing on Sunday should have like a 90s style radio intro. More people than I thought made one.
What's the one from Parks and Rec? It's like, damn it. You know, you guys watch Parks and Rec?
I've watched some of it.
There's the two like shock jock guys, and it's like Stinky and the Douche or something, and I can't remember.
I think they're inspired.
Stinky.
Believe it or not, I had Carlos load these in. So this is, and again, if you don't listen to Sunday's show for whatever reason, the fart or shart is just, was this performance a fart, which is if you wait a little bit, it'll go away, or is it a shart, like a real situation?
Oh, I got it. It's Crazy Ira and the Douche.
Crazy. That's incredible.
Okay. Anyway, sorry. That was Nick Kroll. It was great.
These are the potential 90s shock jock intros for Fart or Shart.
I can't wait.
So, Carlos, give us the one from Tim.
The Ringer Fantasy Football Show presents Fart or Shart.
Ooh, that's gonna leave a mark.
Featuring Crazy Craig and the Diaper Dannies.
the echo so and the reverb.
Someone did that instead of like working
That's
today.
So good.
We also have one.
The
I think
Diaper Dannies.
We have one from Jason.
Okay.
Fart or Shart.
Oh my God! Change your short.
The air horns. They're so good. Oh man, thank you so much for these. Everybody.
Oh, we also have one from Matthew.
Okay.
It's time for
America's favorite segment.
America's favorite segment.
or Shart.
Maybe he's lactose intolerant.
This guy's been farting all goddamn season.
The baseline on that.
Wow, these exceeded my expectations.
I have never felt so in awe of our power with the show as the fact that like 7 people spent their Monday morning making these things.
Damn, I feel like we by tomorrow we'll have enough to just do a power hour of 10 options.
Just rank them. Oh, that's a good idea.
Which one did you like the most, Craig?
Man, who was first? Tim? Was Tim first?
Tim was first.
I think I like Tim and Matt's. They were all great. I think I like Tim and Matt's the most. That's tough. I like the
Jason.
beat. The beat of Matt's was great, but Tim's had the best sound effects, I would say, and the most air horn usage.
The best air horn.
Well, we have them all loaded, you know, so now we can mix it up if we want.
Yeah, we'll mix it up.
Oh my, yeah. Thanks to everyone.
Wow, those were unbelievable. I just think I fucking love that era, that like early radio, or like, you know, like early 2000s, late 90s radio.
Crazy Craig.
That's like Howard Stern man show shit. Which is just
all right.
Crazy Ira and the Douche. Just like that voice. And the Douche.
Yeah, where did that become like the standard?
You know what I mean?
That guy's the voice.
It's the original brain rot is radio voices.
Well, this is kind of where the whole metal draft idea came from, is like when I was doing analysis and stuff, I'm like just kind of even keeled, not very like, you know, you guys, how I always do like ads. It's like, you need to bring up the energy. And then Chris was like, I'm just going to do monster truck voice over everything. And that was like how it all started. He's like, Sunday, Sunday, Sunday.
It's the best.
If people haven't seen it, we should post it again. The first metal draft you did with Chris Ryan videos is actually one of my favorite things the Ringers ever made.
Dude, they were so unhinged.
I'll put that on the Instagram. Okay, I think that's all we got. Thank you, DK. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Carlos, for making this episode. Thank you, Kai. Thank you, Ronnie. Thank you, Austin. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Emails, fantasy court ideas, emails, more trivia. If you want to sit down and if you think you can top what you heard, go ahead and make a fart or shart edit. Yeah, why do your job? Just go ahead and make that. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Lord.
Thank you, Led Zeppelin. I almost said Journey. Have we done Journey lately or ever?
I mean,
probably 10 times.
600 shows or something.
Lately,
is like probably.
Which one do you like more, Led Zeppelin or Journey?
I feel like, I'm not going to lie, I definitely couldn't name like 5 Journey songs. Probably couldn't name 4.
I feel like with Journey, you probably know more than you can name.
You think?
Yeah.
Like, Don't Stop Believing, I think I could get every lyric. And then I don't really know what else they got going.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. It's hard for me to remember the specific names.
Go
but like,
down in the city.
Oh, yeah. Lights. Wheel in the Sky.
You know what? I always forget they do Any Way You Want It. Never mind. Obviously,
Any Way You Want
like
It. Yeah.
Faithfully.
Oh, yeah. Faithfully.
Okay. All right. There's way more.
They've got a ton of hits.
But it's funny sometimes how culture like is passed down secondhand sometimes, where that is inextricable to me from The Sopranos. I literally had never heard that song before The Sopranos ending. So like that's just the Sopranos ending song that now is very popular. Obviously, it had like.
When did you watch The Sopranos?
When it came out.
But it started when you were like. 7.
Well, I didn't watch it in order. I watched like the final season first.
Okay,
which was
you
very
watched the
confusing.
final season.
You watched
first?
the last season of Sopranos first?
Well, I was in 7th grade. It wasn't
That's
like they just
wild.
had that shit floating around. It was on television. You turned it on.
You didn't buy the DVD box set.
Damn, that
No.
kind of sucks.
Well, I was 13 and it was on.
I know,
That's
but
what
that sucks that you had the ending spoiled and you probably had no idea what the fuck was going on.
I read some synopsises on AOL about, how Philly
AOL.
retired
Oh,
seemed
man.
like he was
And
getting not long
AOL.
from this world. Yeah, AOL had like the little spinning carousel, and I was like, oh, I Lost too. I think I had this. Lost. The way I watched Lost was deranged because it was on, and so like in the final season, so I would watch an episode, have no idea what was going on, read Lostpedia to just learn who the fuck is this character, and then I finished the last season of Lost.
Was Lost as good as the hype would indicate?
I watched
in
that
the
in order, but
moment-
having watched the first season later, at the
Heifetz
moment, I'm
watching
sure
out of order.
it was crazy.
But I can't believe you were just watching shit out of order. That's fucking
I was
crazy.
13, and I'm
Don't
like, what am I
watch
going to do? Oh, the sanctity of The Sopranos. I'll go back and watch all. I don't know.
Well, don't
It's
you
not
want to
on.
know like the
No,
freaking
it's not even
plot?
the sanctity. It's like people seem to like this show. Maybe I'll just wait and start from the beginning instead of just reading the last
Just, like,
chapter of the
know
book.
who these characters are?
It was a big deal.
I just like can't imagine doing that.
That's weird.
That's great though. I like that for you. Did you you did the same with Lost?
Yeah, it was on. Everyone was talking about it. I was like, what's this
Okay,
thing?
so Lost, I feel like that would be even like way more confusing
That was
watching
like-
late.
I feel like Tarantino tries to confuse you on purpose. That was like, it was kind of, I don't know. It was kind of like coming in the middle of Pulp Fiction. It's kind of insane.
Lost, the first season of Lost, I will stand by as one of the best seasons of television ever, and it was fantastic. And like, you truly on the edge of your seat, you couldn't wait till next week.
Carlos is texting saying this is just how TV worked before streaming. It doesn't seem very crazy from Heifetz.
Well, before they had streaming, they had these things called DVDs.
I was
that you could
13.
buy.
You want me to buy 6 seasons of The Sopranos?
Just saying, like
That was
if you don't
like
see a show,
$100.
if you don't see a show on television, that doesn't mean you don't see it.
It kind of does.
There's other no, not true. There's other ways to watch shit.
Did you want me to log on to iTunes and use my iTunes gift cards to buy 6 seasons of The Sopranos to
As a
catch up?
13-year-old, sure.
I think
Sure.
I just think it's like there's this prestige show that is like apparently incredible, and just hopping in at the very
That
end.
word had not even been used yet.
Okay,
That's true.
It was just a
very
show
good
that was on, and everyone was talking about it, so I turned it on.
You're super wrong about that. It was not just a show that was on. It was like the biggest,
Like
best show
monoculture.
of all time. It was winning every Emmy. It
Yes,
was like a huge
that's why
deal.
I wanted to watch it. Because everyone
know,
was
but-
like, this is really good. It's a big deal. I'll turn it on.
So, okay, so you saying prestige wasn't around, but
No, I'm
everybody
saying
knew
the
it was like
term
an
prestige
amazing
TV
show.
had not even been used yet in like 2006.
Okay, you're kind of missing my point. I'm saying like I feel like the fact that it was such a big show and it like was so good to me, I would not want to just then hop in at the very end. I would want to wait and watch it from beginning.
Yeah, now
to end
in
so
the
I could actually know
convenience
what
of the
happens.
streaming era, yeah. At the time, the idea of catching up on 6 seasons of television before I watched this, like I think, I don't know. I just was like, I'm going to turn this on and watch it. I was 12.
Okay.
Is this that crazy? You guys have never just like jumped in the middle of a show that was a big deal? That never
No.
happened?
No.
What about like sitcoms? I feel like this is what I did with everything. I didn't
Not
start
the
as a
same
fan
thing.
of Friends.
Sitcoms
It's
are
not
totally
even
different though
close to the
because
same
every
thing.
episode is like kind of standalone.
Hopping into Friends in season 4 is not the same as the last season of The Sopranos.
I know
Or
it's
Lost.
not. I learned that watching The Sopranos
Yeah, no, I've
because
never
it was
done
the first time I tried doing that.
that.
I just
no,
think
I've never done
I'm offended by the idea that if you didn't see something when it was airing live, that you're fucked and you can't watch it otherwise. Like, dude, we had other ways of watching shit before.
How old were you in
streaming.
2006?
22. 4?
That's kind of my point. I was 12. How am I supposed to watch the first 6 seasons of The Sopranos?
I had tapes when I was 12. I don't know. I bought things before I was an adult. I don't understand what your point is.
I
Ask your
didn't
parents for
care
a
enough
present.
because
Okay, well, that's fine.
Here's my thing. I had never seen the show. This is kind of like listening to a song on the radio, or you to decide you're going to buy the album. You want me to spend you want me to buy the first season of Sopranos in case I want to catch. I'm like, I'm going to just watch the show and see if I like it.
Okay, that's
Also,
fine.
People are
I
talking about it.
understand. I
You were
understand.
12 and your
I'm
parents
just
let you watch The Sopranos is kind of.
I know it was a big deal that they let me watch it. They didn't let me watch it for the 5 previous years. I had to go to bed while they watched The Sopranos, and then they're like, "You can watch it." I'm like, "Fuck yeah, that was it. I want to watch it."
Yeah,
Bobby got
I
shot in
guess
his little train shop. That was crazy. That was fine. I
Spoilers.
didn't need to know the nuances of the commentary, the American Dream. I was like, "Choo-choo guy, go away."
I just
guess
can't
that-
imagine picking up like at the late part of a series.
Yeah,
and
I'm
just
not,
like not
like-
knowing anything about the story or the characters.
I guess I understand if you're 12 years old, you kind of like don't know what's going on. You sit down and watch a show your parents are watching. I'm more just like, that kind of sucks. Like that sucks.
Also,
It was
like,
fun,
to be
you know, but
clear,
you say that.
I don't. I'm actually also in Craig's like camp here. Where I'm like, I don't actually care that much that you picked up late. I just was offended by the idea that you like were physically incapable of watching the show at some point. It's like
I mean, I
so hard to find a tape.
That I'm
Or a
less.
DVD.
What are you
I
talking?
don't know
You
if
want me to go to
I don't agree with
Blockbuster
that
and
as
rent?
much.
Hey, Mom, I want to rent the first season of The Sopranos.
Sure,
I'm
I
pushing
agree
my
with
luck
that
here.
as
She's
much.
letting
that'd
me
be
watch
great.
it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, I get like a 12-year-old wanting to watch what your parents watch. I'm more just like, that sucks that you just like hopped in late, had no idea what was going on, and
say
knew
it
the
sucks.
ending.
I think streaming is totally changing the thing. If I had listened to you guys, I was there and saw the finale. And when the screen went black, I also was one of those people who thought the TV cut off. I thought our TV cut out, which happened all the time actually with the TV we had. And I thought the TV blacked out. So I was part of this thing everyone remembers. And if I had done that, I would never I remember that because I watched it.
I mean, I watched it on streaming on my later, and I didn't know what the ending was, and I thought my computer crapped out.
Well, there you go.
Like, I just mean like that you had no idea what was going on.
Well, that's why I read about it on
Who's
AOL.
this Tony guy?
I read about
Yeah,
it on AOL.
Like, you're like, who's this woman trying to park? Is she going to come kill him? Like, what's happening here? You know.
Yeah.
That's all.
I feel better because Carlos
I've never
is
seen The
texting here
Sopranos.
just being like he's on my side. I feel a little less crazy.
The whole like you could have watched the DVD set. I don't really agree with that. I'm more just like I don't know. I guess I'm surprised your parents let you watch.
I guess what were my options here? Don't participate in this thing or participate in the thing. I'm not going to go and catch up on the 50 episodes or whatever. That's not happening. That's a new concept.
So did you never watch The Sopranos?
I have watched most of it, but yeah, deeply out of order. I never went back. The Wire I've seen in order a bunch of times.
What does that mean? You
Deeply
watched
out
it
of
mostly
order.
out of order.
Because I saw the ending at the time. I just jump around.
He just
to like,
throws an episode on.
What do you mean
Yeah.
you jump around? Did you ever? You never watched it from beginning to end?
no, because I fucking saw the thing and I was like, oh, this seems like a lot.
This is insane to me. I don't.
When
I
was
don't
I gonna
care.
do it?
I don't care what Carlos.
What do you mean?
thinks.
When
This
you
is
just said you
insane.
watched
Yeah,
The Wire
well,
5 times?
the truth
one
is,
of the times you watched The Wire,
I
you could
feel
have watched
like
The Sopranos.
Sometimes I just pull up a movie and start in the middle.
I feel like I was okay. Carlos says I'm not losing. I'm like, all right, I don't know. I saw the ending. I wasn't motivated to start over.
I just can't
Which
imagine
is my
starting a show
overarching point
late
of
in
like
the.
that
Yeah.
sucks. It literally ruined it.
I
That's
feel like you're taking what I'm saying as I would go back and do it the same way. I am just describing a thing that I did
well, I
because
know.
I just was 12.
But you're also defending it vehemently.
It was normal at the time. I was like, everyone's
Yeah.
talking about this. I'll watch a show. I wasn't thinking about the broader implications of missing
No,
out on
I
some
totally
American
get that.
cinematic piece.
I totally get that. If I was your parents, I would have probably said like, "Hey, we're not going to let you watch this. Wait and watch the whole thing
Yeah.
when you're 4 years older." But the fact that damn, that sucks. So you just bop around and watch random episodes of Sopranos? That's fucking weird.
Just depending
I know,
on the
yeah.
mood.
I had a weird relationship. It was the first like big show I got to watch. It was, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not saying this is like, I'm not recommending this.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting.
Anyway.
Watch The Sopranos. It's good.
Email us at ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com. If you have, I don't know the right thing here. I guess your relationship with, there are certain, like when you're, for lack of a better term, like when your collision with like adult material and it just being like, you just digested big cultural pieces wrong. I don't know how else to say it.
I mean, look, I'm the guy who watches everything like 2 years late, so whatever. I don't have a
He watched Barbie on the VHS that just came
I know.
out.
I don't know. I can't, people are probably pissed off at me right now, but that's fine. I just think I like to watch shows in order. That's all I'm saying.
I would have preferred that
I'll
too,
go back
but
to
they
the
didn't let me
beginning.
watch it when I was 6 when it came out. 4.
No, I'm saying you could have started. Well, whatever. We don't need to restart this conversation.
All right. Did we think a band?
I just want to point out that in the before times, in the early 2000s and late 1990s, you were able to purchase popular
You keep
culture
saying that. Not when you were
shows.
11. I
Yes,
literally
you
wasn't
could,
allowed. You
100%.
literally, I couldn't do that. I wasn't
bought
old enough.
I bought things when I was.
I
11,
wasn't
12
old
years
enough to do that. Literally, they wouldn't sell it to me. That wasn't
Okay.
allowed. I wasn't 13.
Okay.
I feel crazy.
I wasn't allowed to buy porn, but I found a way. Heifetz, you know.
I should have gone into the woods. I should have
Yeah.
gone and watched the Sopranos VHS in the
You're
woods.
not technically allowed to smoke cigarettes and drink before you're 21. Well, cigarettes, I guess, is 18. Fucking, find a way, Heifetz.
Fair enough. All right. Goodbye,
That's all.
everyone. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.